What's up, guys? Welcome to the clip of Andre the Man Show. I forgot to talk about this topic. I just been going through my mental headspace has been clouded with just bitterness and bad judgment over the past month. But now, after I let all this stuff go and I vent it and I feel better. So what I'm talking about here, Richard Medhurst. I'm pretty sure some of y'all that been watching my show before it became the ATP network. Um, I have been playing his clips about the Unity clip where he was talking about um, Biden coming supposed to be the Unity ticket and Unity is bumming innocent women and children all over the country. He been talking about this stuff on his YouTube channel. He been on here for a while now. To be honest with you. So what I got here, obviously, I'm pretty sure most of you guys know. I'm always late to shit. It's not by my own recognizance. It's just news moves so fast, and I'm only one guy at the moment. Oh, I need a producer. I need another producer to like just to search up news stories for me and stuff like that and make thumbnails. As we get bigger, or hopefully I have a budget and I can hire somebody to do that for me, so I don't have to do all the work by myself. Well, the producing wise, like it'll be other shows. Ty Peasant got her own show. Provolone, welcome. I'm gonna welcome Provolone. She gonna have her own show. Hopefully, she ain't got to have her own show now. It's just hopefully in the future she will. I know she got work and stuff, and Damien got a new show. So, at one point I thought, man, at one point I thought we were kind of at a crossroads, but now the APTV network is finally going the way it should have been going. So anyway, beyond that, Richard Medhurst got arrested. I think a few weeks ago. He got escorted off the plane. He gonna tell you the story. He was in London, Heathrow Airport in UK, and the police. I hate the police, but the police got escorted him off the plane, and you can say damn near tortured him. But I'm gonna let him tell his own story right here, and then I'm gonna break it down, man. This is very, very sad, man. Like the mental, the traumatic experience he have to deal with this. Like, yeah, he didn't get tortured, but damn near, I mean, like abused, like physically abused, but damn near the mental scars, man. It's crazy. Here's the clip.
My name is Richard Thomas Medhurst. I'm an internationally accredited journalist from the United Kingdom. On Thursday, as I landed in London Heathrow Airport, I was immediately escorted off the plane by 6 police officers who were waiting for me at the entrance of the aircraft. They arrested me, not detained, they arrested me under Section 12 of the Terrorism Act of 2000 and accused me of allegedly, quote, expressing an opinion or belief that is supportive of a prescribed organization, unquote, but wouldn't explain what this meant. One officer took my bags, and when I asked why he was still back in the aircraft, I was told, look, mate, you can get nicked right here in front of everyone, or in there, your choice. So I was taken to an adjacent room, patted down, my phone confiscated. I was not allowed to inform my family. Despite being calm and cooperative, I was handcuffed with something that placed my shoulders in.
Richard Medhurst said he gonna get nicked, man. Richard Medhurst is a savage, man. I like him. Okay.
In an awkward position, and my wrists on top of, rather than next to each other. The handcuffs were extremely tight. Despite the police loosening them, they left marks on me for 2 days. The police took me down onto the runway, put me in a police van, essentially a mobile cage, and informed me that everything was being recorded. The van was cramped. I had to struggle the entire time.
Man, I hope he's able to get that recorded footage. You know how the pigs are, even overseas, and all over the world. Pigs are just scumbags, man. They probably gonna take it, either alter it, edit some of the parts out that's, showing the more severe parts, and just leave the parts where he just, the parts that they feel that is not as controversial. So, man, this is just horrible. Wow.
To keep my balance and trying not to fall over as we drove to the police station. Now, once inside the station, they searched me again for the second time within 10 minutes. I was told to sit on a bench, remove my shoes, remove my socks. I was told to turn my socks inside out and hold them up for the officers to inspect. They also made me hold up my feet so they could check them as well. The officers took me to a room with UV lights, which they told me is used to catch burglars who are sprayed with something. I have no idea why they did this, since they just removed me off of a plane. My suitcase was then opened in the lobby and ransacked. All of my journalistic equipment and devices were seized, including phones, SIM cards, wireless microphones, headphones, even my shoelaces. They later...
Damn, you'll think Richard Medhurst is a damn domestic terrorist or some shit. Holy shit. Like, had to turn his socks upside down and they confiscate his electronics. Like, he's just a fucking journalist. Like, man, I think they just trying to rattle this guy. See, they ain't got none on him, no charges on him. I think they just trying to rattle him. But wow, this is some crazy ass shit. Holy hell.
It took my DNA as well, my fingerprints, palm prints, and photographed me. I was placed in solitary confinement in a cold cell that smelt like urine. The bed and the bed, if you can even call it a bed, was simply a small concrete ledge with a paper-thin mattress. The cell had no windows, no heating, no toilet paper. I was recorded 24/7 with audio and video, even when going to the toilet. I had to eat food with a piece of cardboard that you were supposed to fold in two in order to scoop up the meal. The police said that I have the right to inform someone that I'm locked up. So I said, okay, I want to call my family. And then they'd go, well, your calls are withheld because of the nature of the alleged offense.
Wait, I thought you are guaranteed a phone call when you go to jail. So it just shows you that you ain't guaranteed shit, the way they treat this guy, damn, I believe they don't treat actual domestic terrorists this damn bad. Holy shit. Oh my God, man. He ain't guaranteed a phone call because of the nature of his charges? What are his charges? Like, that's crazy. Like, all this shit is just intentional to get him, to get him rattled. Like, they hate independent media. Like, social media hate independent media. The establishment hate independent media. Just, it's scary out there, man. Wow.
I tried to ask, well, what's the point of a right if you can just randomly withdraw it? Why tell me that I have this right at all? And one of them said something along the lines of, well, it's not an absolute right, it can be waived. Similarly, they said I had the right to know why I was being detained. So I asked again, and the police would say something like, well, we're just the arresting officers, we don't really know. Or this will be explained to you during the interview, or some other generic response. Now, despite the police officers' civility and cheerfulness, I felt that the whole process was designed to humiliate, intimidate, and dehumanize me, and treat me like a criminal, even though they must have been aware of my background and that I'm a journalist. I was under surveillance almost the entire time from the moment I was arrested until I was released, be it in the police van, in the station, the cell, all of it. No privacy whatsoever. Many of my requests were also delayed or outright ignored. When I was detained, I asked for water several times. The police would always say sure, but then I ended up waiting hours for a tiny cup of water. I asked if I could have my own clothes because I was in a t-shirt. It was cold and I couldn't sleep. They said they'd give me a pullover, but never did. Although one guard did give me a second blanket. See, you have to nag and nag for the most basic things. And this is why I was afraid that they weren't even going to call a solicitor for me. I was able to see the nurse on one occasion, but on 3 other occasions, when I asked to see the nurse, they'd say yes and then nothing. For many hours, no one in the world knew what had happened to me or where I was. Only the police could call a solicitor for me. I had to ask like 4 or 5 different guards for several hours until I finally received a call. Some of my solicitor's calls did not get through or were not answered. One of the calls, my solicitor was told, would be monitored, and so they simply refused to take it. I asked to speak to the solicitor afterwards when that happened, but I was not allowed to. In total, I spent almost 24 hours in detention. At no point whatsoever was I allowed to speak to a family member or a friend. After waiting 15 hours, I was finally interviewed by 2 detectives. The interview lasted about an hour and a half, maybe something like that. So there's clearly no need to hold me there this entire time. But
Harassment and intimidation. That, that what this all about. You can just tell, like, they didn't have to hold them there at all. They could have just questioned them and let them go, but they had to throw in the solitary confinement part to scare the hell out of them. Like, I've had a feeling they say, "Hey, you better chill out on the anti-establishment talking points you doing." Just nuts. I feel so bad for this guy. You know what I mean? Like, wow, you have to go through this shit. Like, man.
I believe this was done on purpose to try and rattle me psychologically. That failed. I categorically and utterly reject all the accusations by the police. I am not a terrorist. I have no criminal record. Prior to this incident, I'd never been detained in my entire life. I'm a product of the diplomatic community, and I'm raised to be anti-war. Both of my parents won Nobel Peace Prizes for their work as United Nations peacekeepers. They had a tremendous effect on my worldview and outlook and instilled in me the importance of diplomacy, international law, and peace. I myself am a victim of terrorism. When I attended the British school in Islamabad, the Egyptian embassy adjacent to my school was blown up in a double bombing. I categorically and unequivocally condemn terrorism.
I gotta tell you right there that he's pro-peace. He's not a terrorist. And damn, the guy had been traumatized by that. He was near the place where it had been bombed. Like, holy shit. Like, man, I learned this lesson. This is why my headspace is better. I learned, when you hear people's stories, man, like on Twitter or, on YouTube and stuff like that, the stuff I went to, I didn't nearly have many traumatic experiences. I had a couple suicidal attempts, but wow. Like, imagine me being beside an embassy that got bombed. Like, shit, man. That's deep.
I am a MEDHURST. My family goes back 1,000 years in this country. I come from a long line of public servants. My father served in the London Metropolitan Police before entering the United Nations. He is an expert and an authority on counter-terrorism who taught me much. My grandfather was in the Royal Air Force during World War II, and his father before him in the British Army in World War I. I perhaps don't have the same career paths as them, but I consider my journalism to be a public service and my way of doing my bit for the country by providing a counterweight to mainstream media. I love my country. I respect its laws and its legal institutions. I get the feeling, nevertheless, that those like myself who are speaking up and reporting on the situation in Palestine are being targeted. I had booked my ticket to London on the same day, and yet an entire...
So he said right there, like the Medhursts, his parents are known in the UK, so they're well known, but they still did this guy like that. Like, and the establishment, when you go against the establishment, fuck your background. Even your background could be pristine. Your father could be the fucking, he gave food to the poor. Your mother, she was, with him or something like that. As soon as you go against the establishment, like Richard Medhurst did, doing now, which is, I commend him for that. You get to be in this situation, and it's so unfortunate.
Entire team of police were mobilized to arrest and question me. This is why I felt that this was a pre-planned, coordinated arrest. Many people have been detained in Britain because of their connection to journalism. Sometimes under the Terrorism Act, sometimes not. I think of Julian Assange, Craig Murray, Kit Clarenberg, David Miranda, Vanessa Beeley. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only journalist, however, to have been arrested and held for up to 24 hours under Section 12 of the Terrorism Act. Keep in mind the conditions that I outlined previously. The psychological element where you're made to wait endlessly. You've not been told what you're accused of, nor when you'll be questioned. Now, despite having been released unconditionally, I do not feel that my bail is truly unconditional. I'm effectively in limbo, not knowing if I will be charged in 3 months or if I will go to prison. Journalism is my livelihood. I have an ethical and a moral responsibility toward the general public to inform. But I feel that a muzzle has been placed on me. I simply do not know if or how I can work at all during the next months. Palestine, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, remain the most pressing news story in the world. However, it seems that any statement, no matter how innocent, how factual,
Yeah. Yeah. The establishment talking point is Israel has the right to defend itself, and Hamas is the reason why all those, blame Hamas for everything when the occupation been going on before October 7th. Yeah. See, being pro-Palestine, has consequences. Everything has consequences, Um, even me, like, I'm getting suppressed on social media because of my pro-Palestine stances. Even, so, and look what they did to him. Wow, jeez.
and well-intentioned, can be skewed and twisted into an offense of the highest order. This is precisely the danger and the absurdity of the Terrorism Act that I have always sought to impress upon the public, long before I ever became a victim of it myself. It is out of control. It has no place in a democracy.
So basically, that Terrorism Act basically said if you a journalist and you're against the establishment, we have the right to torture you and fuck you up psychologically. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing in the United States with the Patriot Act. They spying on us. But I'm about to get to that towards the end. Jeez Louise.
Counterterrorism laws should be used to fight actual terrorism, not journalism. We cannot call ourselves a democracy as long as reporters are dragged off of planes and detained and treated like murderers. I am disgusted that I am being politically persecuted in my own country. Now, as I do not know if I can still report as a journalist for the next months, I kindly ask you for your support during these times. Freedom of the press, freedom of speech really are under attack. The state is cracking down and escalating to try and stop people from speaking out against our government's complicity in genocide. Please stand not just with me, but with the others who are still inside. I know what they're going through, and the best relief is to know that people on the outside are rooting for you and doing everything they can to get you out. Thank you.
So yeah, that's one of the greatest journalists out there. It's a lot of great ones. Richard Medhurst. Man, I feel really terrible for him right now. They got him so rattled, understandably so that he don't know if he can do journalism or not, and then he's still awaiting the charges they put against him, which was bullshit. They ain't got no charges against him for what? What has Richard Medhurst done? Besides speaking truth to power or reporting the truth to the masses. What has he done? The British Parliament or the the police state in Britain. What has he done? You gotta answer me that question. So man, it brings me to this, man. The Andre ATP network. We're small, eventually, hopefully we'll grow some more, but as for now, man, I'm worried about the other bigger prominent independent media like RBN, JB, Sabby, Nick, Rome. I worry about Afeni too. Afeni is not on independent. Well, she kind of is TikTok, but I worry about her. She's always on the ground. Like, I'm worried about I'm worried about Indie News. I'm worried about Kikabello. I'm worried about countless other people, man. It's scary out there to be in this space, man, because that could happen to Richard Medhurst. Then it could happen to all of us in the near future, man. Because I'm not gonna always be behind this computer with a microphone. I'm gonna be on the ground. Hopefully, me and Ty Peasant could collaborate and feed people and stuff, and hopefully, some pigs come to me, escort me off the plane and put me in solitary confinement for 24 hours, something like that. It's scary, man. But when you come into the independent media space, you got to understand the potential consequences. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure, like my job don't really give a shit about me doing this. Even they did, I wouldn't give a fuck. Like, freedom of speech, motherfucker. I ain't talking about you, motherfucker. But I'm just saying, like, other jobs, maybe some bigger open opportunity jobs with more pay or something like that, and they see I do this, and I'm talking against what the company's, what the company, let's say the company CEO standards is, and they fire me because they scared I'm gonna speak communist Marxism to to the damn workers. So yeah, man, independent media comes with consequences. You doing this shit now and then a few minutes later you get the goddamn feds at your door asking you question, or doing what they did with Richard Medhurst, escorting them off the motherfucking plane. So yeah, y'all, that's the end of this clip. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching the ATP Network, Voice for the Voiceless.